Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching yet another episode of Lima Shenanigans 1977. It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. It is time for the NXT Event Center from events from the NXT Wrestling Show on the CW Network, plus matches from NXT Level Up. And now, here's the host of the show, Mr. Eric M. Lima. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans 1977, episode 1894 of the show. Hope you guys are having a very blessed day. We're about the end of NXT, another NXT in Lowell, Massachusetts. Now, this is but it started off with Obafemi, the Iron Survivor of this year, went up against one half of the tag team champions, Axiom, and Obafemi dominated this matchup throughout the matchup, and Axiom was beat up badly, and Femi ended up winning the matchup. Meanwhile, Sarah Schreiber interviewed Eddie Thorpe, asking him what you have to say for yourself after what you did, and Eddie Thorpe goes, if anybody else did it, they'd be considered a mastermind or a genius. When it comes to me, it's low down and everything else. And Ava, he said, doesn't matter how I did it. I got my title shot, and Ava interrupted him saying, listen, it doesn't matter how you do it. I can't, there's nothing I can do about that. And then Eddie Thorpe goes, now you know how I feel. And he says, and besides, he would get screwed out of that matchup anyways. So there's that. Carmen Petrovic felt that she was being mean to Shanti Diodonis. Dion Lennox tried to give her advice, and Dion Lennox said, "Hey, why don't you go apologize to him?" And then Carmen said, "That's what I'll do." And she gave Dion Lennox a hug, and Ashanti Diodonis saw that and said, "What the heck are you doing?" And Dion Lennox was trying to explain it, so he said, no. I pushed off Nikita Lyons, since I may have to call her again. Oh boy. So this could lead. And, Karen Petrovic and Dion Lennox were like, what did we just do? But overhearing that was Mr. Stone and Stevie Turner, and I'm sure they went to Avis and was making this thing a mixed tag match down the road. Meanwhile, the women's action, Soruka and Zarya went up against the Meta Girls, Last Legend and Jakara Jackson, and the Meta Girls ended up winning that matchup. Their team experience won over Soruka and Zarya, who were teaming up for the very first time. Tyreek Igwe and Tyson DuPont were talking about losing to Hank and Tank, and Tyreek Igwe said, hey, we need to concern about winning and all that. Tyson DuPont says, yeah, but we have to go about it. There's the right way we go about it. But then Wesley says, you know what, Tyreek's right. And Wesley knows a thing or two about, wanting to do whatever it takes to win, even if to ditch the friendships and respect and all. So we'll see what happens in that endeavor. More women's action. Ren Sinclair, a former guest of the Rant and Rave podcast, which you know as Maddie Rinkowski, was there a couple of years ago, went up against Jada Parker, and OTM and the No Quarter Catch Crews, Miles Bourne, and what's the other guy's name? Tavion Heights. I'm trying to remember. Tavion. What was the other guy? Tavion Heights. Yeah, was at ringside. But then they decided to brawl at ringside. And, excuse me for just a second here. They decided to brawl at ringside. And, but Ren Sinclair and Jada Parker went back in the ring. And, but Jada Parker took advantage of the situation. Ren Sinclair with her finishing maneuver, 1, 2, 3. Jada Parker continues winning. And there was a positive banter between her and Michin And I'll tell you what, her and Michin, they have a lot of respect for each other, which is so super cool. Michin says she would like to have Jada Parker at her side as a tag team partner. Hey, why don't we make that happen, you know? Jada Parker keeps this up, she may end up on the SmackDown roster, and I'm sure Michin will probably vouch for her, and they'll become a tag team. And that's going to be something for the Women's Tag Team Championships to be thinking about. So there's that. Meanwhile, Shotzi, Gigi Dolan, and Tatum Paxley were hanging around Tatum Paxley's little dollhouse, and they were talking about how they're outcasts and all that, and they're coming together. And they said, we'll have to deal with Fatal Influence. And Gigi Dolan did reflect on her and JC James' partnership when they were part of Toxic Attraction at the time. And, well, and that's the, I don't know if they're going to come up with a name. They look like the goth version of the Powerpuff Girls, you know. You got the blonde, they don't have a blonde on their team. They got the green haired, the brunette, and the redhead, which I thought was pretty cool. But Fatal Influence respond to Shotzi, Gigi, and Tatum Paxley, calling them losers and all that. And Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, the Unholy Union, interrupt them. What's their deal now? Going to be very interesting. Meanwhile, the NXT Tag Team titles are on the line. Frazier and Axiom defending against Gallows, Wolfgang, and Mark Coffey. I don't know how Frazier and Axiom do it. These two boys, Axiom got his shoulder all busted up. He's all taped up. Frazier's got his face mask protector. And they, despite the fact that Joe Coffey got involved during the matchup, retained the titles. What is going on with these two guys? They're the Houdinis of the NXT Tag Team division right now. More on that situation, man. Let me tell you. More on that situation. Meanwhile, Channing Stacks Lorenzo, and Luca Crisafino were watching the matchup in the back. A little bit more on those two gentlemen. Ethan Page, Javon Evans was talking to Hank Walker and Tank Ledger about their victory and all that. In fact, Hank Walker and Tank Ledger went to Reality of Wrestling, Booker T's Reality of Wrestling, and them and Will Auday picked up a 6-man tag team victory over the Command, led by Terrell Tempo, Big Luther, and Quentin Winters. The match is on YouTube on the Reality of Wrestling channel, YouTube channel. Check that out. And they were talking about, victory. Javon Evans talked about his year. And then Ethan Page walked by them, and then Javon Evans was kind of saying some stuff, and then he said, he's kind of worried. Then Lexis King and Charlie Dempsey about to ready to work out. And Charlie Dempsey on the deck of cards. So what's the cards for? This is a deck of cards exercise. We're going to keep doing the exercise according to the deck until we run out. And they did everything. Lexis King was trying to work hard, and he was keeping up with Charlie Dempsey. And then Charlie Dempsey said, I'm impressed. You kept up with me. I keep my word. You're getting your Heritage Cup title shot. And the two says, let's do it. They both shake hands. Respect. I think Lexis King is trying, Wayne has to be tested by Charlie Dempsey. We shall see what happens there. But Ethan Page interrupted Vic Joseph. Booker T says, listen, he didn't know where to go. He says, the only people that loved him was his family. He says he did everything with his family. Javon Evans comes out and says, hey, listen, man, we've heard all we heard. Listen, Javon Evans was trying to be classy. He says, hey, listen, I respect you. I'm proud of you. NXT's proud of you and all that. We don't want the old ego. We want to see the real Ethan Page. And then Ethan Page did the I Lost My Smile, because that's the same arena that Shawn Michaels did that in, which is really crazy. Lowell Auditorium. Also, it's the same stadium, the same arena that The Rock first won his title 4 years after, 4 months after making his debut. February 97, Thursday Night Raw, he beat Triple H to become the Intercontinental Champion. So anyways, back to Ethan Page and Javon Evans. And then Javon Evans goes, "You're right. I shouldn't be worried about losing a smile. I should be worried about taking yours." He hits Javon Evans in the face with a mic, knocking him down. Ethan Page starts pounding on him. He's screaming at him. He grabs a steel chair, puts it around the young kid's neck, stomps on it. Kid's been spitting out blood. And not only that, Vic Jones said he saw some teeth. And I'm telling you, I think the fans got the old Ethan Page, and that is not a good thing for anybody. So, Sarah Schreiber interviewed Trick Williams, who gave a shout out to Javon Evans to get well. He says he's determined to Eddie Thorpe. He says, "Hey, listen, cool, you got your title shot, but I'm going to beat you." And Obafemi said, "Hey, good luck tonight, and I hope you win the title so I can take it off you." I knew he was evil. And then Trick Williams says, "I'm looking forward to this matchup." Then Stephanie Vaquer addresses Cora Jade and says she's going to introduce Cora Jade to Hell. That's going to be a very interesting matchup. In fact, that matchup will happen next week, the Christmas Eve edition of NXT. The first time that NXT falls on Christmas Eve in a long time. I think since last year, I believe. So, it's the first time CW. It'll be Stephanie Vaquer going one-on-one with Cora Jade. And also a Fatal 4-Way #1 Contenders Christmas Chaos matchup. It will be OTM. No Quarter Catch Cruz, Tavion Heights, and Miles Bourne. Hank Walker and Tate Ledger, and the D'Angelo family's Change Tex Lorenzo and Luca Crisafino. Whoever wins that matchup will be the next in line for the tag team titles. Meanwhile, the NXT title was on the line. Trick Williams and Eddie Thorpe went one-on-one, and both men went at it. But both men went at it, and in the end, both men went at it. But both men's shoulders were pinned to the mat. One referee was knocked down, and another referee came in, and then so it was, to my knowledge, right now it's a draw. Both referees came out, and both referees are arguing about whose shoulders were pinned where. Ava's trying to figure this out, and she's a little upset about it. We shall see. Let's go to NXT Level Up. There were 2 matches only on the card. Danny Palmer and Wendy Chu went at it one-on-one, and Wendy Chu, coming back from her excursion in TNA, her feud with Rosemary, picked up the victory. Wendy Chu beat Danny Palmer by submission. Meanwhile, Nico Vance, who was the newest member of the group that formed with Sean Spears and Brooks Jensen, Nico Vance did pick up the victory over Benaforce Oro Mensa. So that was from NXT Level Up this past Friday, and so I can write that down. So that is all the time we have on this show as well. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. Tomorrow we're going to pull the one-armed bandit, the Joker's Wild. That's right, a week before Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. I just cannot believe we're at, Christmas is coming soon, guys. Can't wait. So that's it. That's all the time we have. I'll see you guys later on the next episode of the show. Have a good night, everybody. Until next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home. That is all for today's episode. This is your announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E, do it for Bob Saget Productions, and in association with a Raven Bofa Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching today's episode. Tune in next time for another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. Goodbye for now.